We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Respect us. Massage from member anonymous in Iraq. Rega Hawlery. Began translation from anonymous. The Secretary General is closely following developments in Iraq. It calls for dialogue between the government and demonstrators as an immediate step towards an end to the escalation, and reiterates that freedom of expression and peaceful assembly are fundamental rights that must be respected. The Secretary General deeply saddened the loss of life during recent protests and calls on all actors to exercise maximum restraint and to refrain from violence. Special Representative of the Secretary Anonymous in Iraq, Rega Hawlery. I am deeply saddened by the loss of life. 5 days ago, reports of deaths and injuries have been reported. This must stop. I invite all parties to stop and think. Those responsible for violence must be held. Let the spirit of unity be filled in Iraq, please. After replay all people. Blocked office NRT TV. Channel NRT TV. Work for other country. Channel biggest spyware. NRT TV. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Except us. Mr. Abdul Mahdi's anonymous call. You and the curfew announced a day earlier, around sunset. Following Tuesday prayers, the number of protesters grew to more than 1,000 as security forces opened fire inside streets to prevent more people from reaching the square. Tahrir, or Liberation Square, is famous for its monument known as the Freedom Statue that depicts key events in Iraqi history before it became a republic starting in 1958. And don't open channel NRT TV, Arabica channel hacked from anonymous group by Rega Hawlery. Just don't open Shalan, NRT TV, spyware channel. There's no electricity, no jobs, people are dying of starvation, and people are sick. It is a curse, said one young protester, who declined to be identified for fear of reprisal. I am taking part in the demonstrations because of unemployment and corruption, said Ras al-Sari, a 34-year-old unemployed Baghdad resident who wore a green mask. He vowed to continue protesting despite the crackdown. As a group of journalists were interviewing a protester in the square, a policeman opened fire and wounded the youth in the leg. None of the Iraqi journalists were hit. Parliament Speaker Mohammed al-Halbusi said in a televised speech Friday night that he supports the protesters' demands, adding that lawmakers will work on fighting corruption that is as dangerous as terrorism, a reference to the country's battle against the Islamic State group. He also called for an end to the use of live ammunition against protesters. Since the spontaneous rallies began Tuesday, security forces have fired live rounds and tear gas every day to disperse them in multiple provinces. The mostly young demonstrators are demanding jobs, improved services like electricity and water, and an end to corruption in the oil-rich country. Iraq's most senior Shiite spiritual leader Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani urged both sides to end the violence, and he blamed politicians, particularly lawmakers, for failing to enact promised reforms on the economy and corruption. The comments were his first since the protests began, and many across Iraq's predominantly Shiite south had looked to the influential cleric for guidance. Al-Sistani singled out the leaders of the two biggest parliament blocs. The government and the political sides have not fulfilled the demand